Welcome back, Farting Taco here. Today I'm going to be covering a video on the best starting guns in Incursion Red River. Okay, first on the list, AK-105, running $2,200. Attachments we got on, we got the Zenico B10 handguard, same with the laser. We got a Magpul foregrip and the OKP7 reflex sight. These are all the best attachments you can have starting off. You don't need any rep with any of the factions. This gun is very well rounded in both the medium and short range engagements. You can substitute the laser that I put on it for a flashlight to see in dark places. The recoil is manageable. It is chambered in 5.45 by 39, which does pack a bit of a punch when you need it to. Full auto does have some drawbacks when it comes to recoil. Next on the list, we have the AKS-74U, running $2,050. This is also chambered in 5.45 by 39. All I've added is the PBS-4 suppressor, as well as the OKP7 reflex sight again. For those of you who are short on cash, you can also take off the dust cover, as you do not need it. This weapon is a much overlooked hidden gem in most games, as it is very effective at close range and does have good medium range capabilities also. And the suppressor does complement all those sneaky players out there. All in all, this is a must-try weapon if you are just starting out in Incursion Red River. Okay, now we're going to move up a weight class with the AK-104, costing $2,220. This gun is chambered in 7.62 by 39 millimeter. On this beautiful piece of machinery, I have slapped the handguard, one we were using previously, as well as a flashlight, a vertical foregrip, and the OKP7 reflex sight. With the higher caliber round, this weapon should pack more punch and put down enemies in fewer rounds than the previous two. Now, just like one of our other weapons, the flashlight on this gun can be switched out for the laser, and vice versa. Now, I do believe that once you unlock some better attachments and stuff, and you get a higher quality sight on this weapon, it could have very good long-range capabilities. Now, that being said, it does, as it is, have very good medium-range capabilities. If you find yourself short on money, you could take the sight off of any of these weapons and use iron sights, and it would work just fine. Now, moving on to everyone's favorite, the M4A1, costing $3,150. The only attachment that we are going to be adding to this is the stock flash hider. The reason for this, I want these weapons to be the most cost-effective they can for starting weapons. Now, that being said, the M4A1 is definitely a good weapon, even if it doesn't have a sight on it. Using these iron sights works perfectly. Now, it's not that great at longer ranges with the iron sight, but at a short or medium range, the M4A1 does its job well. Now, the big pro to using the M4 early on is you can find a lot of attachments in the world and on enemies. A lot of the enemies that you're going to run into, especially near the military base, are going to have M4s on them that you can either use or take some of the good attachments off those M4s. Now, next up, and this is our last assault rifle, the STV-380, running $2,360. The only attachments we are going to be putting on this is the Magpul foregrip and the Zenico PKO6 reflex sight. Overall, the STV is a very well-rounded weapon. It has good capabilities at both short and medium ranges, and if you unlock better attachments, I believe with a longer range sight on it, it would have good long range capabilities also. The recoil is decently manageable, especially at a shorter range. As you touch out further though, the recoil will have a negative effect when using auto. That is when you're going to have to switch to semi-automatic. Okay, we're going to wrap up with assault rifles now and move on to our submachine guns. Okay, first up is the MP5 SD, running $2,220. The reason I picked this one is for the built-in suppressor. As well, I added Zenico PKO reflex sight once again, the MP5 Picatinny rail, so we can run that sight, and then the MP5A2 fixed buttstock, as it does not come with a buttstock on it. So the MP5 SD has 3 fire select modes. You have single fire, you also have 3-round burst, and full auto. As you can guess with any submachine gun, the MP5 SD is most effective in either burst fire or fully automatic. Single fire can be effective at longer ranges, but it deals way less damage than just using an assault rifle. Now, if you're planning on doing a lot of urban engagements, up close and personal, I recommend using the MP5 SD for that. Okay, next up, and probably my favorite submachine gun, the PP19 Vitesse, running $2,375. On this baby, I have put the Tango Down stubby vertical foregrip, the Zenico Klesch 2IK53 laser, as well as the B10 handguard again, and the Bell Mono PK06 reflex sight. The reason I like this gun so much is because of the recoil, which you'll see in a second. As well, you can add a lot more attachments to this one than you can any of the MP5s starting out. As well, even the semi-automatic at a distance does do more damage than all the MP5s. Overall, if you are a fan of the submachine guns in games like this, I would highly recommend checking out the PP19. Next up, we're moving on to DMRs, starting with the SVDS running $2,630. The only attachment that we're going to put on this is the OKP7 reflex sight, as that's the only attachment that is available to us starting off. Now, this weapon is really good at longer ranges, but I feel you need a better sight than the OKP7 reflex sight to make this an effective DMR. Honestly, close range engagements, not horrible, but it does lack the stability and mobility of, for example, a submachine gun or an assault rifle. Now, once we unlock more attachments for this, it is going to be a wicked weapon. Okay, next up, we're moving into the sniper rifles, starting with the SKS, running $2,000. Now, once again, the only attachment that we're going to be able to put on this right away is the OKP7 reflex sight. Who would have guessed it? So, the upside to this weapon is it does pack a big punch, and it only usually takes 2 rounds to drop an enemy. So, the SKS has a lot in common with the SVDS. You can see here, the recoil is very similar, as well as its mobility. Now, one big downside of the SKS. You're reloading 1 round at a time. As you can see here, we cannot just change a magazine out. But all in all, the SKS will be a great weapon once you can unlock better sights for it. Okay, moving on to light machine guns. So the RPK-74 costing $2,340. Once again, not even going to say it, we're only putting this sight here on it. Now, the RPK is supposed to be a light machine gun, yet starting off we can only have a 30-round mag on it. So it acts almost more as a heavy AK. The good thing about the RPK is it does pack a lot more of a punch than your regular AK. I do find, at least with the low amount of attachments we can have currently, it is most effective in semi-automatic and not automatic. I'm sure once we get more attachments and better ergonomics through those attachments, this is going to be a very good light machine gun. And finally, our last weapon on this list, the Glock 19, costing $1,510. So, the thing about the sidearms in this game, I highly recommend you use them as sidearms and not primary weapons. Don't attempt to go 0 to hero right off the bat until you actually figure out the game mechanics and stuff. The pistol, at least the Glock 19, is not super powerful. It is going to take quite a few rounds, even multiple headshots, to actually drop enemies with this pistol. Now, that being said, this is a very fun game. Have fun with it. If you die every once in a while, it's not as hardcore as, let's say, Escape from Tarkov, as everything in the game is pretty cheap and it's super easy to make money quick. Now, if you like the video, like, subscribe, make sure you smash the hell out of that like button, and stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to be making some tips videos on how you can actually go about making more money more quickly in Incursion Red River.